Hi guys, welcome back to Lolita Alonso. Hi, I'm Tanya, and so we're on part 3 now of our project where we're working on a man's suit, and we're doing, we've already done the hem, we've already done the waist and the seat on the pants, and we're also now, for part 3, we're going to hem the sleeves on the jacket. So I've already pre-prepped, I've already kind of set it and taken it apart. But I will just give you a briefing on that so that you can kind of get an idea. That's really kind of, sometimes that can be what takes the longest, and sometimes that can be the hardest part of the whole project. So, if you look here, this is my jacket for the gentleman's suit. So this is the jacket that goes with the pants that we've already completed. So now we just have to hem the sleeves, and of course, you know what a sleeve looks like on a man's jacket. They have this this opening here, which is a flap. And sometimes it can be where this seam is not open and that this actual arm seam could just be sewn all the way through, but this one actually has a flap on it. So, and it also had buttons on it, but I've already taken all of those off. So just to give you an idea of what it would have looked like before we started. So these are my buttons. I always try to make sure I'm keeping up with these, because if you lose these buttons, you're in trouble, okay? You can't replace them. 9 times out of 10, you can't replace them, okay? So this is what it would look like if it was in place. The buttons would be here. So first thing I do when I'm prepping it is I clip my buttons off. I take my buttons off with a razor blade. And again, for my beginners, always make sure you're using a seam ripper until you get used to using a razor blade. So I take the buttons off, and then what I have to do after that is take the lining apart. So, of course, the lining is normally the last thing that is sewn down when they're doing that. So, the lining was attached here, like this. So, I had to take this apart, okay? And then I had to come in the sleeve on the flap parts. Starting on the flap parts, I had to take this apart, because this was sewn together, and this was sewn together, okay? And it's actually a mortared edge is what they did on it, but when I get ready to put it back, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it a little bit more simple. So this is all has to be taken apart. So like I tell you before, it's always like a puzzle that you take apart and you put back together, just with a few minor adjustments. Okay, so, and then what we're going to do is, it also has fake buttonholes here, which lets you know that it's that the jacket is, it can be a semi-expensive jacket. If it was extremely expensive, the buttonholes would be functional. And you can actually almost make these buttonholes functional by cutting them, basically. But it's all about just giving it more a detailed, tailored look. So it all depends on the designer. Everything always depends on the designer. Alright, so we've taken that apart. So then I had to chalk where it was finished, because when the tailor marked it, they actually pinned it up. So what I did was I went in and I just chalked the edging on where the finish line would be. You always want to mark your finish line. So I'm just going to go back over what I had marked. And these are my finished markings. And this wax chalk is easily removable. Once you steam the garment, it's going to go away. It's going to fade away. You do want to be careful with the wax chalk when it comes to silks. You do not want to use wax chalk for that, because once you swipe that chalk across there, then it's hard to get that waxy feel. You don't want that wax blending in with that silk, because it'll mess it up. So apparently this guy has a difference in his arms. And like I told you guys before in the first part segment of my, sometimes people have a difference. So apparently he has a difference in his arms, as you can see. And this marking on this sleeve is right at the top of the buttonhole. On this marking, the marking is below the buttonhole. So we're going to have to finagle this some kind of way to see how we can make that work.